Welcome back to another episode of the Inspired Writer Collective podcast. I am normally your host, Elizabeth, but this is a special behind the scenes with an indie author series where I am having guest hosts come on and talk to me about what this looks like in the last, 4 or 5 weeks leading up to the publication of a debut book. This is my book, Lonely Girl, and today I have Hannah Gordon joining me to be my guest host. She has been a part of this book process because she has been my author coach. I've referenced her as my author coach on, a number of episodes towards the end of this season. So she has been helping guide my timeline, helping me project manage all of this. So she knows a lot of the intricate details of what's going on in my world right now. She also was on a previous episode this season as a guest and was a part of our memoir summit. So welcome back, Hannah. It's good to have you here, and thank you for doing this with me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me back. I am so thrilled to be here, and I love doing anything with you, Elizabeth.
Awesome. Where should we kick this off?
I feel like when I think about the launch day and the weeks leading up to a launch day, I feel like so many authors think their pub date is their end date. And I know as you and I have been talking, we know that in some ways, it's just the beginning, right? It's okay. You think that getting the manuscript accepted to a publishing house or deciding what publishing path is going to be, okay, I've reached the goal. And you're like, oh, nope, now there's this whole other world of pre-pub and editorial and marketing and design. And then I think the next step is authors go, excellent. So my pub date, that's my finish line. I can cross the finish line and celebrate. And yes, we all should. We should cross the finish line and celebrate. But what happens after that, right? We can't be, okay, the book's on the shelf. My job is done. And so I think that for me, when I talk about, okay, what do these weeks leading up to pub date do? I think about, oh man, you're only halfway through that race. You're not close to the finish line yet. And I know others always give me that look that, oh no, big eyed. But I think that's where I start in this is you're not done yet.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into it. Like we were chatting earlier because we just hopped off one of our author coaching sessions. And, we were talking about the timeline of a bunch of these podcast guest appearances. They'll start rolling out in these couple of weeks. I did just have one with Waking the Whispers air this past week. So if you missed that, I actually read the scene from the book that is the story behind the imagery of the spilled coffee that's on the cover. And so I shared with the host Ben, and we talk about the writing process, that particular story, the emotionality. It comes at a very pivotal part of the book. And so those episodes are starting to roll out, of course, behind the scenes, which is what you guys are here for. I'm recording these episodes. I've got another one I'm recording tomorrow. I recorded one today. So those are all rolling out within this same pre-launch or immediately post-launch time frame. And like Hannah said, there's a lot that goes on in beyond publication day. My calendar is full on publication day. I've got a dentist appointment. I've got, some stuff I have to do with my kid. In a sense, it's I can't, it's hard to imagine it's hard for me to imagine that an author is just marking that one day on their calendar and doing everything then. There's so much lead up. There's so much follow up. My in-person event is not happening until the end of that week because I want that to fall on the weekend. And yeah, it doesn't, I don't feel like I'm anywhere close to crossing the finish line, but I've also set a really aggressive goal for myself for this next year. So I think I see a different finish line of a year from release day because I just have this goal for myself for that first year, and that's to personally sell 1,000 copies. Ooh. And I don't know what that's gonna look like because I'm not counting the Amazon ones where I only make $1 or $2. I want to whether that's a author signing events. I think I've calculated in if I do indie bookstores that I work with and do consignment, that counts to me as some of my 1,000 books and
1,000 copies sold.
Yeah.
No, that's
So
fabulous goal. I love it. You got to shoot for the moon because if you get a low goal and then you meet that goal, oh, okay, across the finish line. Shoot for the moon, girl. I love it. 100%. And no,
right.
I,
If
I
your
really
goal
think
is
that you are correct in that, like, okay, the year after your pub date, a year from your pub date is actually a better finish line. Having those goals
Mhm.
keeps you really consistent in your first year publication marketing, which we all know is like that's the time your book is going to sell the most copies. Unless, I mean, we have our ones that get picked up by major publishing houses, we have our
Mhm.
ones that take off a few years later. Certainly, there are things there, but for the vast majority of books, especially indie published books, that first year is so important. And how we position ourselves in the market, how we connect with people, booksellers, readers, all of that is so incredibly important in that first year. And so I love hearing, oh, that's kind of my goal is that year after my pub day and 1,000 copies. I mean, the vast majority of independently published books don't even break 100 copies. So I love that goal. It's up there. I'm so excited for you, and the process of this book and working on it has been so much fun. And seeing your growth in terms of the ways you're thinking about not only just this book, but you as your writing as a business and as an author. And I'm a heady creative. I don't always love to do the business side of things, but we have to think about, okay, so how do I position myself and how do I put myself in the market in a way that makes
looks
sense.
like
So
right.
that's how I break things down in my publisher hat. But yeah, I love to see indie authors really push hard in that first year and do all the things that you're doing in terms of these little behind the scenes stuff, all of the really great consistent marketing efforts, right? So that's something I see from you so often, that you look for these small opportunities to reuse content, to create interesting content, and to do things in a way that will keep readers engaged with the themes of your book and with what you're doing. And so your whole brand between you as an author, an Inspired Writers Collective, and Whispered Wisdom Press, and all of this stuff is just, it marries so beautifully together.
This week, one of the big things was unboxing my first box of these books. So I've just moved my whole life and family 3.5 hours away. I'm still in Colorado, but I'm in a totally different like geographical area. And the boxes of books actually arrived before I moved in. So I had to call my landlord and ask him if he would please move them inside because that represented almost $1,000 of inventory, like just at my cost, right? Not like actually like the value for what they sell for. To please move them inside the house because they arrived on, I think, Friday and we were moving in on Monday. And it took a couple days until I had time and the mental capacity to sit and unbox the books, but I'm super happy with how they turned out. This cover is like velvety smooth and so appealing. And, I did a quick check of like, did the spine, does the margins look right? Because I see some authors post and like they've got bleed over of the cover spine onto, or the cover onto the spine. But I'm just so pleased with it. The colors look great. And it's nice to hold. Um, I love the way it looks. There's so many decisions that went into like getting it to this form, and it is really cool in just a very like meta sense that like these words used to only exist within like my head, my memory, my conscious thought, and like now they're on a page. They've taken physical form. If that's not some kind of magical alchemy, like if I'm not a freaking witch, I don't know what would classify as a proper definition because like this did not exist and now it exists.
Yes, it is
So
magic is the exact way to put it. So let tell me how you feel holding that in your hand, because that's the whole thing. Debut books are so important when you first see your name on that cover. Because I know when I was a journalist, first getting your first byline on A1 and having that cover page story, you like cut that shit out and you're like, oh, forever, I'm laminating this. And so, how does it feel? How does it feel?
I mean, it feels crazy cool. I think it'll feel a little bit more real when I'm actually like handing it to the person who's going to read it. I think I'm a little bit disconnected from like that process of me as the author sharing something with you as the reader, because the only books I've, distributed so far have been via mail to my ARC readers, who get the advanced copies. And so I think there's still like probably some other levels of this to unlock. Like, don't get me wrong, it's really cool to hold. And I also acknowledge I need to read it again because I need to pull out like what snippets I want to share, what things I might want to do for like a live reading at an event or whatever else. So unfortunately, I've got to read it again. Well, not unfortunately, but I've read this book so many times. I'm really excited for other people to read it and reflect back to me what they like about it. I think that's one of the hardest things too about trying to market your book pre-launch. It's something at least I've struggling with, is like, I know what the book means to me, but I don't want to necessarily like put it in some box of what it should mean to you. Like I trust that you as the reader are going to mix my experiences in with your own, and it's going to create its whole new thing. And every reader's going to react differently to it, but I don't know the words to properly encapsulate what you as the reader may take from it, or what I could promise you as the reader that you'll experience in this book. I just know what it feels like to me. And so I am excited to start getting in some of those like ARC reviews and feedback, and start to look for some of those trends in those reviews in order to really know how to market this book. I think, there's probably going to be a couple different waves of marketing. Like there's this initial one where I'm just kind of guessing and sharing about themes, sharing about, whatever else that I think will resonate with people, particular stories like I shared on the Waking the Whispers podcast this last week. But I think as I get to understand how readers are relating to this book, then the marketing will take on a more true, more hopefully effective form than what I'm like grasping at just based off of having written the book and knowing the book so intimately.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've tapped into two really kind of funny and at odds, but also not at odds at odds at all. The I need to reread this book after having read it so many times, but also being so intimately familiar with the contents of this book that it's almost too
Yeah.
close. Like it's almost like pressing your face against the window pane and seeing your breath, but not being able to see outside, right? Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Like all you can see is right here. And so I completely get that. But one thing you haven't gotten yet, which I'm excited when you do get it, because I just got my first one a couple months ago. I logged on. I don't use my author Facebook page as much as I should, and I finally checked it. And I looked at messages, and I had a message from a reader that was so excited about the Beach Bum books, the fiction books I write that are all set in Key West and based on Jimmy Buffett songs. And I had only released two at that point, and I got my third one coming out in late June, similar time around yours. And so she was so excited and was like, I read your first one, and you need to keep writing these. I love these. And it was, I mean, someone I don't know, someone who took the time to find me on Facebook to write this message. And then when I responded and said, "Oh my God, you sent me this message 3 months ago. I'm so sorry. I never checked this and I should." She was like, "Oh my God, you responded to me." And I was like, "I am not that important. I thank you for messaging me." And so I was on cloud nine. You couldn't tell me nothing for like a week. Like, excuse me, someone messaged me on Facebook and told me they like my work. And that was enough. And so those things and getting that feedback and seeing what excites people about what you've done, it's
Mm-hmm.
just so much fun. It's the best part. Those connections, it is, for writers who a lot of our work is solitary, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's why you have an author coach, because you're in your own head and you got too much stuff going
Yeah.
on. And I just need somebody to bounce these ideas off, or someone to tell me I'm not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love doing that, and I love being that person for authors, but it is just so much more special when it is somebody off the street who read your book for no other reason than they wanted to read your book. They don't know you, has nothing to do with a
Mhm.
feeling of obligation to read your book. Um, and it's just so special. So I'm excited when you start getting those messages because you definitely will because there's some beautiful stuff in your book and I haven't finished it yet. I'm on the slow train, but I'm on island time. It's uh, you've got you've got such special moments and such deeply meaningful pieces that come through and I can't wait to see what people pull out and what they relate to and how that goes for you.
I know, I'm so excited. So everyone's just going to have to stay tuned for these next handful of episodes. Like I said, we'll be rolling out an episode each week where I talk about what's going on behind the scenes as I gear up to getting this book into readers' hands. Thank you, Hannah, for joining me for this one.
Yep, thank you so much for having me.